everybody, I'm Allie and welcome to Inspire Me Monday. Today we're going to do some really easy cards using some distress inks, some water, and some stamps. I'm going to make this a repeatable card, so I thought we'd do something really fun and really quick and really colorful. So to begin our card, I have die cut 4 panels exactly like this. This is a Spellbinders die. And I will have the link up in the top left hand corner for you. And we're going to take these to our Misty. And if you haven't seen the Misty yet, wow, are you missing out. It's a stamping tool. I'll put it this way so you can see it. Sorry about the glare. It's a stamping tool used to position. So you have a lid and a base, and there's a piece of foam, grid paper, and there's also some magnetic paper on the bottom. So that's what these are for. These are just really strong magnets. Okay, so I'll show you how I'm going to use it today. For some reason, I always use this corner. You can rotate it to whatever position you need, but for some reason, I like this corner. So first of all, we're going to use the new Simply Camellias stamp set. And we're going to use the large bloom on the front of all 4 of our cards. And we're also going to bring in a sentiment from the Good Thinking Love Notes. And we're going to use this one right here. We're going to put that on it. But let's start with our camellias first. So when using the Misty, you put whatever the stamping surface is on your paper. So you position it where you'd like it. And you can use your magnets to help hold your cardstock, or in my case, this is watercolor paper in position. And I'm just going to position my camellias image right about there. And I close my lid, press a little bit, and what happens is it sticks to the lid. So now, because these are all identical pieces, same shape and everything, all I have to do is load them into the very same spot, holding them down with my magnets, and we have 4 identical cards, like, completely quickly. So I'm going to use my VersaFine. I'm going to ink up my... Sorry, I'm off screen here. I'm going to ink up my camellia image. And I'm literally going to close the lid. Press that stamp firmly from the top. And pick it up and look. Amazing. So I'm going to quickly do the last 3. And voila, 4 perfectly stamped images in under 2 minutes. Not too bad, right? All right, now that we have our 4 card top all stamped with our camellias, we're going to put the little quote. And I thought it would fit perfectly kind of in this little corner. So once again, because they're all identical, I'm going to position my greeting or my quote or my sentiment on my card, close my lid, give it a quick press, making sure that my magnets don't interfere, but they're close enough just to hold down the card. Okay, so it's all ready to go. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to ink it up, press it down, and then change out my cards. And we're going to have 4 card tops in less than 2 minutes. And there we go, that's number 4. All in a matter of less than probably 5 minutes to get everything stamped. I mean, it took me a little longer to do the die cutting, but as far as the stamping is going, it's done. So this tool is wonderful for this use, especially if you're making Christmas cards or something that you want to repeat over and over and over again. Great tool. All right, now we're gonna play with some water and some ink. And I'm gonna bring out 3 particular inks today, and we're going to use Picked Raspberry, one of the new colors called Abandoned Coral, and Wild Honey. And this is where we get to have fun, because I'm just going to let the inks kind of do the job of themselves. I think what we'll do is we'll smoosh. And I think actually start with the Abandoned Coral kind of up towards the top. And I think this is our Picked Raspberry. And our Wild Honey, I think I'll bring it in towards the bottom of my mat here with maybe just a tinkle there and there. And then I'm just gonna bring in my mister. And this is where we're just gonna let the ink do the job. I'm not even gonna worry about coloring in my blooms or my leaves or anything. I'm just letting the ink do its job. So now that I've wetted down my surface, I'm just going to drop it and pick it up and see how my colors are blending. That's great. I think we'll bring in a heat tool here. I really like the effect of the heat tool when it dries those big colored blotchies. I like those kind of watermarked edges and super inked areas. It's kind of cool. We got some cool dots and stuff because we didn't press all the way down, so it stayed in its droplet form there, which is pretty cool. That's what's fun about this technique. You never know how it's going to turn out. And you know what? That's part of the fun. So I love this little cluster of heavy, heavy ink right here. And I'm going to dry it all the way. Get rid of all those little puddles that are still moving. The more water that you add to your inks, the more translucent they're going to be, and the less pigment you're going to have. So just be aware of that. Alright, that looks pretty dry. So now I'm actually going to go back in again. I'm going to press my cardstock in. I want a little bit of yellow up towards here, so I'm going to press down here into the yellows. See, maybe a little bit of the coral kind of in there, maybe a little pink in there, and I'm gonna see if I can get some spotty dotties right there. There we go. Once again, I'm going to dry it with that heat tool, and I'll come back and show you the end result. And there we are with that second application of ink, and it's all dried with the heat tool. And I think I'm going to go in once more, see if I can concentrate a little bit more ink in and around my bloom. So I still have quite a bit of ink on my surface here, so I'm literally just going to lay that cardstock in. There we go. And maybe just a touch more down here. Let's see. Try that area. Yeah. And then I'll dry this again and I'll come back and show you where we're at. And there we go. It's dry after our ink application number 2. And you know what? I think I'm going to leave it right there. So we still have a fair amount of ink still left on this surface. Let's not waste this. You can add a little bit more water, and our next one it will be a little bit more subtle in color. So let's try that. Add some water. Here's card number 2. Let's try this one. Oh, pretty. Right, I'm gonna heat set it right at this point, and I'll be back with, and there we go. See how the color is a little bit softer. It's not so vibrant, and let's dip it again because I love the layers of the ink here. So let's flip it up this way. And, oh, that's pretty. And need some more purpley pinky. Right in there. So I'll dry it and bring it back to you again. And there it is dry. So I think we're gonna add another dipping, and I think we'll concentrate more towards the top here because I really like the bottom. And away we go. Picking up random dabs of ink here. Let's see if we can concentrate a little bit more in that corner. And I'll take it to my heat tool and I'll bring it back again. And there we go. This one's a little bit more subtle than our first one. I'll bring it in for comparison. See how it's a little bit more subtle. We used a little bit more water and less saturated ink. I think we have 2 more panels to finish, and I think I'll clean up my work desk here, and we'll use the same colors, but we'll try something a little different. Alright, I'm cleaned up, and we have 2 more panels to do, and I think we'll do something a little bit different. We're going to use the same color palette again, our Abandoned Coral, Picked Raspberry, Wild Honey Distress ink, and I think I'm just going to make some blobs of our ink here. That's our Wild Honey, Picked Raspberry in the middle, and our Abandoned Coral at the end here. And I think what we're going to do is we're just going to play with water. So I have a water brush here, and I'm going to grab a couple of pieces of paper towel just to have on hand here. I think we're just going to play. I'm going to start by squeezing my brush here. Alright, for some reason my water brush isn't working. That's okay. So I've made myself a little pool of water up here. And I think I'm just going to add a little bit of water to all of my camellias really, really quickly. Like abstract almost. To the point where I'm not even going to the edges, not being exact. And I think we'll pick up a little Abandoned Coral first. And I didn't dilute the ink at all. I'm using it with just whatever water was in my brush here. And quickly, I mean, I'm super quick here. More Abandoned Coral to the large open bloom on this side here. I want to show you that you don't have to be intimidated by the detail in these images. Be creative. You know, watercoloring is kind of open and really quick. Just adding color, not even caring if the brush goes outside of the lines. Okay. And I think I'm gonna go and pick up a little bit of the Picked Raspberry here, and we'll just add a little bit here and there. It seems to deepen the color a little bit, which is kind of cool, so maybe I'll put it in some of the shaded areas. You know, I'm not being exact, I'm literally just kind of dribbling it and pushing it on. More Picked Raspberry I'm picking up here. I love the way those 2 colors blend together. Push it out towards the edges of this particular bloom, a little bit towards the center. And of course, I'm just removing a little bit of the moisture from my brush, and I'm going to add a little bit more concentrated color to this bloom here. Go. Do the same to this one. I'm not staying within the lines or anything. Just literally having fun with my brush and my water and my ink. And that's it. It's not exact. It doesn't have to be. It's what makes you an artist. Alright, let's go into our wild honey here. We'll add a little bit to the buds and to our leaves. You know, not being exact again. Just a hint. I think I will pull in a little bit of our abandoned coral into our buds as well. They always seem to have a touch of color of the blooms to come. A little bit of our picked raspberry here. Add just a touch to some of our flowers. Like I said, not being exact at all with this. Now I think we'll concentrate a little bit of color in the background. I'm just literally just going to do a wash of water here in all of the open areas behind our image. Not being exact. Again, this is quick. This is, you know, mass production type speed here. And I think I'll pull in a little bit of our raspberry here, making sure that it's nice and light. Just a little hint of a wash. So I've added quite a bit of water. Make yourself another palette here. Go up in this corner and pull a little bit more ink in. It's just fun. Pure fun. Pure experiment. And let's add a little bit of abandoned coral to that. Pull in a little bit more water to make it a little bit more translucent. Like I said, doesn't have to be exact. Just kind of pulling in and having fun. Alright, I think we'll leave it at that. And instead of... Actually, I'm going to take it and dry it, and I'll bring it back and show you what it looks like. There we go, our quick and easy color job. Yeah, it's not perfect, but you know what? I like it. It's something different. Why do you always have to have green leaves? You know, it's your prerogative to use whatever colors and however you want to color it. That's what's fun about card making. It's fabulous. Let's see, this is our final card. I kind of like the idea that we did last time, so I think we'll bring in the water brush again. I have the same colors of ink just above the card here. Abandoned coral, picked raspberry, and wild honey. And I'm going to pick up some water. And let's see. I think we'll go and decorate our camellias again. We have our 3 main blooms. And on this time I'm going to start with our wild honey. I'm going to cheat on this one. Let's bring in a little bit of green. So I'm going to bring in shabby shutters. Actually, no, I'm not. Haha. I'm going to bring in peeled paint. So I'm just going to put it off to the side here. Okay. Haha. I know, I cheated, right? Just here to have fun today. That's what I wanted to basically show you guys, that I don't be intimidated by these images. They may be absolutely stunningly detailed, but you know what? You can still have fun without being exact. I mean, oh, look. I've only been sitting here for maybe 15 minutes in total from start to finish, and I'm just having fun. Yep. This is why I love this industry. Just here to have fun, guys. So I'm just going to deepen some of those stems that are in the background there that would be in shadow. I don't know. I kind of like it. It's kind of pretty. And I think, you know what, we'll do just a tiny bit of a yellow wash. So I'm just going to add a little bit more water to my craft mat over here where you guys can't see, sorry. Some water to our background here, just really quickly, really loosely. Fair amount of water. Give it a few moments to settle on that paper, and then we'll just go in with our wild honey. I'm just gonna pull out a palette here. So I've got lots of water and just a hint of color. Ever so slight hint. You know what, if you don't like it, add water to it. Bring out the old paper towel. Alright, and there's our finished fourth card. And I'll go back and show you all the panels, and I'll be right back. Okay, we now have 4 final panels. Take a quick last look at them here. This is one that we started with lots of concentrated ink, very little water. Our second one was using the same color palette. Again, a little bit more water and a little bit more white space left. It's a little subtler. Both of them very cool. So that was 1 and 2. And then we went on to something where we kind of loosely colored. We started off with this one here. And once again, I didn't bring in any other colors. We just used our abandoned coral picked raspberry and our wild honey, and just very, very loosely painted it. And you know, it's pretty too. I like the orange tinge and the abandoned coral in there. And then we went on to our final one, and once again, very loosely added color. We started with our wild honey, and then I was a little bit more meticulous at getting ink in specific areas just to add a little bit more dark and light. And you know what? I really like it. I like the wash too. It just kind of pops and brightens up. And the final one we actually brought in a peeled paint. Today's tutorial was all about having fun, experimenting, and just pulling out some stamps and some paper and getting out some water and inks and playing. So that's my challenge for you today. Thanks for joining me here at Power Poppy, and have a great Monday.